Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Ascend AI podcast where real estate meets AI. I'm your host, Hannah Taylor, realtor, investor, and AI strategist, helping brokerages bridge the gap between innovation and real connection. Today, I'm joined by an incredible guest who truly embodies that balance between business, technology, and heart. She runs 6 companies, including 2 real estate brokerages and a real estate school. She's a managing broker, an educator, and someone who spent years traveling the country teaching agents how to use technology to grow their business. We're going to deep dive in how she leads 36 agents across her brokerage, what tools she's using to empower her team, and how she's turning personal challenges into creative purpose through a new family business. Carolyn Thompson, I am so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you. You made me sound great.
I think you are pretty great. I've loved chatting with you and getting to know about you and everything you're doing. And I'm so excited for the listeners here to hear everything about your history and everything that you've done in the AI space. So yes, let's jump in. You have built an incredible career, as we learned from the intro, 6 businesses, 2 brokerages, real estate school. When you think about everything you've built, what is the thread that ties it all together for you? Like, what's keeping you going with all of this? This is so much.
Well, keeping it going. Well, I don't know, probably my drive. But I have a passion for helping people, helping, grow my family, grow my real estate family, grow all of those kinds of things. So each business has been created for a purpose. And so keeping each one of those purposes in mind is very helpful because, I didn't really set out to become a broker owner, but I did after, well, I was at a large franchise for 23 years and then um, had an opportunity. I kept getting calls and people kept saying, well, why don't you have your own brokerage? And I was like, I don't know. I don't need it, right? I'm fine. And my husband said, why don't you at least talk to these people? And they wanted me to open a franchise and that kind of thing. And so I was like, okay, but remember you set me down this path, which, now I get to take credit for too. And that's what husbands are for, especially after 31 years. So,
No,
anyway,
you still get all the credit for that. You did all the hard work, right?
I mean, I did a lot of work for it, yes, but
Yeah.
so he encouraged me to talk to them, so I did. And it was a franchise person, and he's like, well, don't you want to have your own franchise? And I was like, I don't know. So I talked to a friend of mine who had her own brokerage. Her and her dad own a brokerage, and they do commercial. And I called her and I was like, hey, this person's having me interested in having me do this. And she goes, well, why do you need a franchise? And I was like, why do I need a franchise? What is the purpose of a franchise? Why would that make sense? And so I, I she said, you know what? Come do business with us. We'll give you the startup money. Here you go. I've known you for years. I met her in a leadership program through the Oklahoma Association of Realtors, and we were classmates the very first retreat, and we've been friends ever since. And so that was in 2008, and just really worked out. So I started that business, and we celebrate our 4th anniversary on Saturday. And
That's
so 36 agents, which is pretty cool.
amazing. For a small
Um,
brokerage to grow that quickly in 4 years is incredible.
well, when what I wanted to do was to take all of the things that I enjoyed about real estate, all of the things that made me happy, that I wanted to have and share, that made sense to me, and ditch all the things I didn't like. Because, for example, I didn't want to be a bill collector. Okay. As a broker, I'm like, that's not something I want to do. I want my agents to actually want to answer the phone call when I call them and not thinking that I'm calling to ask them for money or, pay a bill or do something. And so, uh, I just have kind of kept that in mind that while, yes, we're a small brokerage and technically my husband and I are the broker, well, I'm the broker of the office, but we own it. And but it's really for the agents too, because I wanted the agents to have a happy home and a place that they would not leave. And most of my agents, once they come, they don't leave because, well, I take care of them. Of those 36, which I still need to do the numbers, there's a good 15 to 20 that I hired in the first year and a half, and they are still here. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think that speaks volumes about how much you provide for education as well. And I know that, traveling around the country, teaching about technology and real estate has been in your past as well. So tell us, your background in teaching, how you got into that and how you bring that into your brokerage today.
So I was the tech director for, like I said, a franchise, and it was a large office of about 300 agents. And so, as a technology director there, we started using a program called Dot Loop, which I'm sure many realtors know about. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! I love it." I was one of the first four people trained on Dot Loop in the state of Oklahoma and actually wrote the very first contract because at the end of that class, that first day, because we were being trained to be the ones that show other people how to do it. I actually wrote a contract that night on Dot Loop. So I can say I had the first one, which was awesome. But I just kind of was really attracted to the digital space. I've always been technology driven. In fact, as an agent, before I ever got into any kind of leadership, the agents in the office, when the iPhone came out, this is going to date me a little bit, but when the iPhone came out, um, some of the agents were like, "Oh, just wait till Carolyn gets it. She'll learn how to do it and she'll show us all how to do it." And
Love
so
that.
I'm still teaching iPhone classes, but and app classes and things like that. But I learned Dot Loop really, really well. And Dot Loop didn't used to have a training department at all. And because they didn't have a training department, they would train, different people and franchises and all that kind of stuff. And so I got certified as a Dot Loop consultant.
Hmm.
And as a Dot Loop consultant, I started doing things and then they started needing people to go to different places. So, um, if you've ever attended a Dot Loop class where the instructor put on the bunny ears, that would be me.
Oh, stop. That's too funny. We don't have
So,
dot loop in Colorado, but I've had my license in 10 different states, and so I've used it in other states. So I haven't seen the bunny ears, but you got to send a picture. You
well, I will send a picture. So what happens, and you have to have a fun way of giving information and sharing that information, or people aren't going to be receptive to it. And especially teaching adult learners have to be captivated. We're all a 7 second society where we have our attention spans going. However, I took the approach of I'm going to show you what it looks like from an agent's view, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like from a client's view. So when I was the client, my client was Bugs Bunny.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
it was either Bugs Bunny or Lola Bunny. And I had two headsets of ears, different colors. And depending on which one I was, if I was Bugs or Lola, I would put on those ears. And I go, okay, now I'm Bugs Bunny, and then everybody would laugh and it would be
Yeah,
fun. And they're like, oh my God, she's wearing ears.
that's so funny. Oh my goodness.
So,
So,
it just became the thing and something that I always did. And I've even had people saying, "Oh, well, I went to a dot loop class one time. Yeah, it was this lady and she put these ears on and bunny ears." And I was like, "Yeah, that was me." But
oh my gosh,
I've
what a funny memory.
yeah, so I've taught that in 39 states. And
Wow.
at one time I was a CE instructor in 20 different states.
Wow.
So, I have the ability to learn technology in my way, mostly by doing and playing, and then breaking that technology down into an easily understood way. And so that's what I did, and that's what I do. I still do that with my agents. So.
Yes. So tell us how you brought that tech focus into your brokerage today.
Well, so of course we use dot loop in my
Mhm.
brokerage. And we also have several different other things. So I uh, I understand, especially as new agents and even experienced agents, you don't have a lot of extra money to go and spend on the latest gadget and the latest tool and the shiny new thing. And so my thought was, if I buy some of those things as a company, as a brokerage, then I can check them out to other agents.
Mhm.
So I have a gimbal, which for those of you that don't know what a gimbal is, it's that fancy little thing that you put your phone on that it holds the phone steady while you record, and you hold it in your hand. Some of them have extenders on them to make it taller or whatever, but it's just one of the things that I use. And I let agents check it out because maybe they don't have $100 or $50 to go buy one. I also have some translation earbuds. So if you have a client that speaks a language that you have a language barrier, then you can put one in your ear and one in the client's ear and have a conversation back and forth, which is kind of cool. Um, let's
That's
see. I
really
have I do have some podcast equipment
yeah.
for some recording mics and things like that. Oh, well, I also have in my office a one of our call rooms, and I have these little two call rooms in my office because I wanted an open space,
Mm,
but yet sometimes you have to make a private phone call, you know?
mhm,
And so it's a room and it's small. It has a glass door on it, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic. And
mhm.
I even put a little light up sign, neon sign that you can click to turn on that says on air,
Yeah.
and there's a little table. And so one of the rooms is set up so that you can hang a green screen. And so
Mm,
they could actually go in there and use it as a recording area
I love that.
and record, video or audio or, whatever they wanted to do.
Mhm. I love that. So you're supplying the agents with this big tech stack, right, to create social media content and ultimately with the goal of acquiring new leads or converting people from their sphere to clients. So how are agents doing with that, right? Are they taking it in and utilizing it? Is it too time consuming? And so they're kind of leaving it behind. Are they finding ways to expedite things with AI? Like, what is the adoption level of all these, tech things that you're providing for your brokers?
Basically, for the way that I would like to say it's an 80-20 rule. However, that's not necessarily the case on the adoption of technology. I have some agents, and I would say more of them are using ChatGPT. They're using Canva. They're using the AI in Canva, and some of those kinds of tools that they have readily available to them all of the time.
Mhm.
And I have some agents that go out and buy some tech. Like I have one. She's so funny. I just love her to pieces. But she called me. She goes, "Oh, Carolyn, I bought some new toys, some new tech toys, and I wanted you to help me open them." And I was like, "Oh, I love opening new stuff."
Love that.
And so she brings it in the office, and she had bought a gimbal and she bought some recording mics that you can, plug into your phone and use for recording and things like that for audio. And the gimbal that she bought, strangely enough, was the exact same one of the same ones that I already had at the office. I was like, "Yep, that matches mine. Here you go." And so I knew exactly what to do, told her how to set it up and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes they get their own, so might not necessarily be using all of our tech at the office, but it is available to them.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I love that. That's
I,
wonderful.
I, I
Go
wish
ahead.
they would use it more.
Well, I think something for me, and this is just me personally, but I cannot get myself to sit down and create social media posts. It is the most painful part of my role because I'm like, that doesn't, in my mind, that's not helping my bottom line, right? That's not helping my production. That's not helping my clients. But what it is it's my lead flow. And so I think it's just, excuse me, it's reframing what lead generation is in today's world because I do think that social media is a huge part of lead gen. now, and it's not the same as it used to be. And so adopting with the times, I think, is just hard for anyone. But when you're adding all this technology, there's a lot of barriers. And so sometimes I'm looking for ways like to utilize AI to create my posts, to, write my scripts and things like that. And that's sometimes helpful and saves a lot of time. But yeah, it's painful for
Well,
me.
there is something you can do on that. And this is something I've played with. I've done some posts this way. I will say that I need to do a better job of regularly scheduling some things. But you can go into ChatGPT and create a list. So we can go in there and say, okay, ChatGPT, give me a list of 12 topics because you want one a month, or you can give 52, one a week, whatever you
Yeah.
want to do. But say, give me 12 topics of things to discuss that are real estate related to help consumers. Give them the whole prompt, nice
Mhm.
description. So you
Yeah.
get your 12. Then you export that into an Excel spreadsheet. Once you
Mhm.
export that into an Excel spreadsheet, you can actually do a bulk create in Canva. So you can create your template of what you want the background to be. I have one that I did that has like moving houses. And so it
Mhm.
has movement in it. So it's a video. And then you add the text box on it and you basically mail merge for those of us that are old school and know what that is, but you would mail merge something. So you have a field in your Excel spreadsheet that you merge to your Canva product, and then you go bulk create, and it will automatically put that same background image going through and change all the words in the content. And so in minutes, you have 12 posts or 52 posts or whatever it is.
Yep.
Um, you just got
I
to
love that.
remember to put them out there.
Exactly. And to your point, scheduling ahead, right? There's so many tools now where we can schedule these posts to just kind of automatically post without us having to press the button. And so there's so many ways to automate a lot of this. I love that you are teaching people about all of this and bringing it at least to this podcast too, so anybody that's listening can learn that skill set. So thank you for sharing that. And I know you also mentioned, I believe you use Notebook LM. Is that correct?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Now,
tell us about that tool and how you utilize it.
so Notebook LM is one that I like to use for market stats and market data. The difference between ChatGPT and Notebook LM is that Notebook LM limits the data to whatever you put in it. So it's
Mm,
confined. It's a Google product, so it's free and it is confined to whatever that you're loading into it. ChatGPT is going to pull from all kinds of different sources in the web and other things. Notebook LM, you can say, okay, here is a market stat report that I got from our local MLS for the month of September and the month of August. And I want you to take that and I want you to compare the average stats between August and September. Give me a whole direction of, what does this mean and all this kind of stuff. The other cool thing it can do is you can tell it to give you a podcast, and you can literally hit one button, and in about 5 to 6 minutes it will create a 20 to 30 minute podcast of two people talking about the market stats, and it sounds real. It's
oh,
cool. um,
really cool.
yeah, so not only could you publish it and use it as a podcast to create things, but you could also just use it to download and listen to it if that's the way that you interpret or understand or process that information.
Mm,
So I like to put those stats in there and then to ask it specific things about, okay, now focus on this, this, and this stat. So I want you to focus on the days on market, the average sales price, the months of inventory, how many active listings, how many closed, and the changes between the months. And so it can spit out that information, and then I can take that, condense it down, and then turn it into a post for something else. So I could I do an image of market stats that I post every month when the market stats come out, which is about the 15th.
mhm,
And so I'll put a graphic in there, and then but to go with the graphic, I want some contents and words. So I help have that thing kind of, give me the words faster, because while I can sit and do it, yes, of course we can, because we can read numbers and go, well, the difference is 127 houses. Yeah, that's great, but I want it to be a little more user friendly
mhm.
and fun. And you
Of course.
can Yeah, you can tell it to, be whimsical or humorous or funny or, whatever. And so I'll use that to post the words and then put my graphic with it. Now, for my agents in our closed group on Facebook, I have created, let's see, six. I think I do six different images. So two are on the market stats that are English. Two are on the market stats that are Spanish. And by the way, I don't speak a lick of Spanish. Okay, not a bit. But ChatGPT knows how to spell stuff.
Perfect. Love that.
Yeah. And once you get the first one done, then it's easy. And also Canva can translate. So once you create it, then you can tell it to turn it to Spanish. Now, I also have six Spanish speaking agents. And so I had some of them proof that to make sure that it was accurate and looked good and all of that kind of thing. And then I just changed the months now. So I do a different design each year so that I don't have to reinvent the wheel
Mhm.
just once a year so that I have that, a little bit of freshness to it. But I change the month and that way I know which year it is too, because I do put the year on there. And then I do another stat for the median. So most of it's based on average market data, and the other one I do on median. And then I do one for my local town where there's a lot of agents that are from the city of Sand Springs, which is a suburb of the Tulsa metro area. And so since I have several agents in that town, including myself and a lot of my clients, then I do a market stats for that one as well. So, you
I
know,
love it. You've got AI tapping into a lot of different areas of your business. It's so wonderful to hear somebody who's really embracing it and leaning in. So I guess my question for you is, what's next? What are some problems within your brokerage that you would love to have solved, whether it's through AI or just in general?
well, I think I told you if I could just poof and have extra time, that would be amazing. Uh,
Same.
However, AI is allowing for me to reduce the time that it takes me to do different things. So, for example, if I need to run a report or if I want to make a meeting or in the school, because I also own a school. And so in the real estate school, let's say I need to make a class and I want to make a class on, how to use Canva or how to use ChatGPT or, whatever. I can go in there and tell it to make the outline and all of that kind of stuff for me. It can even give me a breakdown of how long it's going to take and how much time I should spend on each segment and that kind of stuff. Now, I'm a little bit controlling on some of that because I'm like, no. And by the way, AI should be you putting your prompt and your information in it, and then you're going to get stuff out. Yes, but you should still edit it after it comes out.
Mhm.
Um, I coach a broker in Iowa, or not Iowa, in Illinois, and the we had a coaching call yesterday and he sent me a list. He's like, this is what my flyers are going to look like, this is what my thing's going to be like. I was like, don't think I didn't notice that you put that in Chat GPT and spit that out. He's like, well, I edited it some.
Yeah, you
So
always have to make the small little tweaks to make sure people understand
yeah.
that there is a human behind it, right?
Yeah. And there are different programs and stuff that know that you copied it directly from ChatGPT and did not make any edits to it.
Mhm.
So if you're just copying and pasting, that's also not going to help your SEO and all that kind of stuff either. So just
That's
make
fair.
sure that
That's a
you
good call out. Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
you are
Some level of
editing.
authenticity in there. So,
Yep.
okay. So I've heard obviously more time for you would be ideal. And how about your agents? Is there anything that they're struggling with? Are they struggling with converting leads to clients? Are they struggling with sales calls? Like, what is their biggest pain point, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of them is definitely leads coming in. Lead generation is always a thing for agents. And I'm going to give you the biggest secret of all. The secret of lead generation is you have to talk to all the people in your database on a regular basis,
Mhm.
preferably within 90 days. So if every 90 days you're talking to everybody in your database, and it doesn't have to be, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? It should be things like, how can I help you today? Is there anything you need? Maybe they need a plumber. Maybe they need an electrician. be there to help them, because if you're there to help them when they need it, when they think of real estate, they will think of you because they're
Mm,
already going to be asking you about, hey, I need a painter, I need a, whatever. And so that's really the key. I have encouraged them to use AI for also things like it can create scripts for you. You don't know what to say? Well, that's all right. Write a prompt and say, give me a script for talking about this. And for all of the realtors that are actually realtor members, you can also go into RPR, and RPR's system has a little button that says create script. So you can go
mhm.
into the market stats or the market information there and click the create script button. And when you click that create script button, if you do it and I do it right now at the same time, it will give us different scripts because the system is also built into there to not come out exactly the same. So that's kind of cool too, because it's not going to give every realtor in the market the same script. It will come out with something different because that's part of what its prompt is.
I love that. That's wonderful. So thank you. I've got one last and final question. And this is maybe more of a personal question, but in 5 years, you have a lot of gears turning right now, in addition to, a business that you've created with your son that we haven't even scratched the surface of here, but I would love to chat about some more. Where would you like to see your businesses? What do you think is the ideal situation? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? How are your agents performing if you are still running the brokerage? What's in 5 years for you?
Oh, I'll definitely be running the brokerage. I will never retire. I can't do that. What's retirement? I commonly get asked, both from my agents, from people I meet, things like that. The common question is, do you sleep?
Yeah.
I do sleep, I promise. And the key to running different things is organization and just being able to handle the different things. Now, I do outsource some things. I have some people that help me with that. I will say that my mom even got her real estate license so that she could know more about real estate, and she sold some houses, I'm happy to say. Of course, I kind of lost some of my leads from her because she used to give me a lot of leads, but it's okay.
That'll happen.
And yeah, it'll happen. And she also helps me on the backside, like if I need to make, books for classes or, things like that, and has an education background for adults as well. So in 5 years, I see still running the brokerage. I see a larger brokerage than what I have. Of course, I want to grow. I still see a lot of the same people that I am in business with because I wouldn't be in business with them if I didn't enjoy them and like them and want to work with them for a long time. And I see our school growing. I would like to have somebody else running the school just
Mhm.
because I've had some interest from some other one of my agents wants to teach and she wants to really be a full-time instructor for our school, and I would love to help her with that. So I see probably somebody else really overseeing the day-to-day of the school. Not
Mhm.
saying that I wouldn't still teach, because
Mhm.
I do love and have a passion for that. um, and yes, I will still be supporting my son. Well, not supporting may not be the right word. I will still be partnering with my son, who we have a business where we make closing gifts, and so that will still be going strong, and we'll grow that one so he can make lots of money and do all of the kinds of things.
I
So,
love that. It's a whole family affair now. You've got your mom involved, your son involved, your husband involved. That's what real
yep.
estate is, isn't it though? It is growing one big family and one big community.
Well, I have to add one other thing. So my daughter might not be in real estate, but I sent her off to college and she was a graduate of SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. And so she has an art degree. So my daughter actually created all of our logos, all of
Oh,
our flyers, our business cards, our signs. So she has the artistic touch, and actually she's created every logo for all of my businesses. But and they're
love
all
that. She's
cool.
your marketing gal. That's so
Yeah,
great.
She's totally my marketing gal. So, I mean, that's not her full-time gig, but she's in Colorado with you.
I love that. Oh, so wonderful. Well, this has been such an inspiring example of what leads to with both innovation and intention when it comes to real estate and creating technology for the brokerages. And so it's been really great to chat with you. And thank you so much for sharing your story. And it's really great to hear just about that, technology isn't replacing people. It's amplifying that connection that you have with people in your sphere and just staying in touch with everyone. It's been wonderful. So, if you'd like, please share how any listeners can connect with you.
Sure. Well, if you want to connect with me, I have many different emails and many different websites, but I will tell you that the best way is my email is CAROLYNT at nrrok.com. And my company is Nassau Ridge Realty in the Tulsa metro area. And my personal website, if you want to see it, is searchtulsahouses.com. And well, my cell phone number is not that hard to find, but you can find me that way too. I'm just not going to put it on the podcast.
No problem. And we'll link all the ways to connect with you on the show notes as well. Thank you again so much, Carolyn, for joining us today. And to everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the Ascend AI podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen, and leave a review to help more people discover how AI and real estate can grow together. Until next time, I'm Hannah Taylor, and this is the Ascend AI podcast, where real estate meets AI.